Hi, welcome back to the CYP AV Academy here in Shepperton in the UK. My name's Neil Walton and I'm the Technical and Training Manager here at CYP. So today we're here to look at one of our new products again, and this time we're looking at the OR-HD62CD-4K22. The 4K22 means that it is 4K UHD supporting all the way up to 60 Hz at 420 colour spacing. It's also fully HDCP2.2 compliant. So it's a 6x2 HDMI matrix switch. That's 6 HDMI sources to 2 independent HDMI outputs. Both of the outputs have audio de-embedding, so there's an optical output dedicated to both HDMI outputs. Now the unit can also be set in switching mode. This means that any of the HDMI sources, the 6 HDMI sources, are displayed simultaneously on the 2 HDMI outputs. Now in switching mode you can also have a picture-in-picture preview. This allows you to view any of the 5 sources that aren't selected on the main output in picture-in-picture mode across the top, side or bottom of the screen. Now the unit can control by the usual. There's hard keys at the front for selection and also to access the menu. You can control it over IR from an IR receiver at the front, and there is an IR input at the back for an IR receiver. You can control it over RS232 and Telnet. Now it also has a web GUI for control, but also it allows you to use quite a sophisticated EDID management tool. The EDID management tool allows you to copy EDID files from the screens connected to be used later on. Alternatively, there are an array of pre-stored EDID files that you can select. This allows you for advanced video and audio management. So looking at the unit itself, there's the hard button keys at the front for selection of sources to outputs and hard keys to access the menu. Now on the back of the unit, we have 6 HDMI input for the sources, the 2 HDMI outputs, and each one has its own optical de-embedding output. So in matrix mode, any of the sources can be selected independently to outputs A or B. In switching mode, any of the sources are outputted simultaneously to the 2 HDMI outputs. And remember, in switching mode, you can also view picture-in-picture. There's a Surface port for firmware updates. There's a LAN port that allows you to access the Telnet commands and all of the web GUI. RS232 for control and the IR input. So let's talk a little bit more about that web GUI I mentioned. So we're looking at the web GUI interface for the OR-HD62CD-4K22. That's the 6x2 matrix switch, or it can be a 6-way switch. So the first thing you would do is go into the matrix control and decide whether you want it as a matrix or indeed in preview, which is the switching mode. In matrix mode, it works as a matrix. In preview mode, it's a switch and the 2 HDMI outputs are simultaneous. Once you select matrix mode, you can see the status of the unit, which tells you what's been selected to watch output, and you can also store some presets here with preset configurations. The I/O status allows you to switch units, so it tells you the status as well, whether anything is connected to the 6 inputs. On this page you can rename the sources and you can rename the screens. You'll see here it's copied the EDID files from screen A and screen B. Makes control. This is where you can actually select a source to individual outputs. You can have, if you wish, an all setting or a mask setting. So masked means it's a muted screen. If I want to, I can select all, which means obviously both outputs will have either any of the 6 sources or indeed the masked or the muted screen. This is where you appoint the EDID files, so you can appoint an EDID file to any of the 6 sources, or if you wish, you can select all, which will appoint the EDID file to all the 6 sources. And you'll see once again I've got the EDID files and the screens attached and the pre-stored EDID files. So, going back to settings, this is where you can store your preset configurations and store them. And you can enable or disable HDCP on all the 6 inputs. You can also set the transparency of the on-screen display and how long that display is on. If I go back to the matrix control and set it to preview mode, which is now a switch, which means the 2 outputs are simultaneous. Once it's in preview mode, you'll see I can now only select one source. So the main source. So I've once again got 6 options plus the muted screen, the masked screen. There's something here that says preview sub. So if I go back to settings, you can see this is the preview configuration. So I have 2 settings here, either picture-in-picture, which means I can preview one of the other sources in a picture-in-picture mode. And if I go back once again to matrix control, this is where I select that picture-in-picture source. So I can select any one of the 6 sources again, or the muted screen. Alternatively, if I go back and put it into View All. When it's in View All mode, this allows me to view the 5 sources that haven't been selected in any position on the top, right, bottom or left of the screen. And the last page is Network Settings, where you can set the unit as DHCP or static IP for control. You can see the ports for HDTP control, which is 80, and the Telnet port is 23. So that's the web GUI for the OR-HD62CD-4K22 with a very sophisticated EDID management tool. So that's the OR-HD62CD-4K22. It's a 6x2 HDMI matrix switch or a 6-way switcher with both outputs simultaneous. Now it's fully 4K UHD supporting, as I said before, up to 60 Hz, 420 color spacing, and is fully HDCP 2.2 compliant. So it can be used residentially in cinema rooms for multiple sources to screens, and in the commercial world you could use it to monitor digital signage players or CCTV cameras by using the switching mode and the picture-in-picture feature. So that's the unit. Now for any more information on this, and indeed any other CYP product, you can visit our website at www.cypeurope.com. We also have our own YouTube channel, which is CYP Europe, and you can see many more of these videos where I'm showing other products. Thank you.